Serious, and you're looking for a Christ man, the one who anointed with the Lord, with the Spirit of the Lord, to do His will. I'm that nigga.
One West, 125th Street. Look, y'all put y'all faith in presidents like they gon' change this country. Run the league and let y'all play cause y'all gon' make a money. Fuck Obama, he ain't come here on Congo.
American honor don't lack no soldiers. For the Spirit of the Lord, we don't lack no soldiers.
Saint, black, Hispanic, native, they hate y'all as the same. Paint Christ in their image, paint you as a slave. God ain't all love, scriptures say he hate. African soft niggas, they know we not the same. School to prison pipeline to get you off the streets. Put you in the cell toilet connected to the sink. Molested as a kid, she prostituted as a teen. The byproduct of Martin Luther King dreams. They just took the yoke off, my nigga, we ain't free. We living bleak in these wastelands of poverty. If you don't know the truth, then the lies sound promising. Prophecy, gift and the curse. Dylan started killing, they was sitting in church. Black folk forgave him, man, this shit is absurd. You should never love your enemy, that shit ain't gon' work. Yeah, fuck dying on your knees, you better die in glory. Man, I joined the UPK, taught me the art of warring. I took a nigga life like mine to be recognized. I feel that pain every day, it can't be reconciled. Pops banging, my sister a prostitute. My brother got life, and somehow I still found the truth. War ready, no cowards, no excuse. Fuck reparations, you can't bandage no open wounds. Blood on the leaves, body swing hung from a noose. I was on a run in Nashville and I found the truth. I called the school, classes being held by the shock on my life. I want to be a gangster like a cop. Do this for my brothers, real brotherhood. Everything we do, we got it out this book. My nigga, I can never be no African. UPK the only authorized acronym. I'm passionate about my brothers and sisters. We in hell, I ain't got nothing against them. That's another religion. If it ain't under YAHANNA, Amy murdered Botham and got a hug from YAHANNA. That's the way out for a coward in my observation. They don't fear the Lord, they indoctrinated. Wolves in sheep clothing, Joe Osteen. Real priests bringing back black royalty. One West on my headpiece, ranking order. Can't let them trick me off the streets, I gotta raise my daughter. I got brothers at the border ducking ICE agents. I got the name change, it was life changing. My family thought it was a game, put on all black, they said I was going through a phase. It's more of us in jail than it was slaves.
Aquí somos la Escuela Israelita del Conocimiento Práctico Universal. Hoy estamos aquí. Lord Commander General YAHANNA, I.S.U.P.K. This is what Commander General YAHANNA. This is what he
First camp, I cut off all my dreads. I took an oath when that oil hit my head. Niggas capping like they lids. I'm a priest, I never stick no fork in no pig. I was dead till I found out how to live. This brotherhood taught me how to be a man. I came back to my roots, I had to dig. A couple gaps I had to bridge. I got a rib, I'm married to this work. You wanna serve the Lord, he ain't in the Christian church. I had to dig.
That's right. Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West.
Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Brakatam to all the brothers, Yahweh Shemar Latam Bahashem Yahushai to all the sisters. I'm Priest and Officer 500 Barak Yala with the I.S.U.P.K, which stands for the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General YAHANNA. You understand, just like every Thursday evening, we have the Brotherhood class where we learn how to love one another. You understand who to love, who to hate, how to love, how to hate, because like it says in Ecclesiastes, if I'm not mistaken, chapter 3. There is a time to love and there's also a time to hate. We are live on I.S.U.P.K. Montreal, Toronto, IIT Boston on YouTube, and I.S.U.P.K. Montreal and Canada on Facebook, and Baraki Allah U.P.K. on Bigo. Make sure you like and share the class everywhere. You understand? There is nothing more important than to know the truth. The truth is a beautiful thing, right? Not only is the truth beautiful, it is wonderful to learn about the truth, to know it. But then, now that you know, you have to give someone else, right, other brothers and sisters, the beauty of learning about the truth, of knowing the truth. You understand? But it's not just beautiful. There's a dark side to everything. And I don't want to say a dark side, but there's a bitter taste to everything. Why? Because it's also bitter. I'm just paraphrasing. I'm about to pull up the scripture real quick, right? On how important it is that once you learn the truth, this is what we have to teach the truth, you know. And I ain't even going to paraphrase it. I'm just going to pull up the precept right away before we get into the class, right? Because it's so heavy. We have a heavy topic today. It's so heavy because the topic we have today shows you again that the Bible is real. You can't say the Bible is not real. You could try to debunk it with Egyptology, the Quran, you know, the dogma of Christianity, which is nowhere in the Bible, but everything in the Bible is real. All the prophecies in the Bible came to pass. That's how you know it's real. The events that were prophesied in the Bible came to pass, meaning they happened. From Deuteronomy 28:68, you understand? Was it Lamentations? I think 1 and 5 or 5 and 4. We're talking about our family structure being destroyed. You know, black on black crime, the man versus the woman. What is described in the Willie Lynch actually happened. It's in the Bible. It's in the curses. You can't say the Bible is false if what's happening today was prophesied that it would happen thousands of years ago. It's talking about Russia and Ukraine. It's talking about Iran, which is named as Persia, right? Modern day Persia. It's talking about World War III as we're seeing unfold. You can't say the Bible is not real. The Bible is very real. But let me pull this precept before getting to the topic of the class. Right, let's go to Revelation. Go to Revelation. Let's go to chapter 10. Start at verse 10, right? Again, there is nothing more important before we get this precept. There is nothing more important than knowing this truth. There is nothing more important than for the people of the book who happen to be so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, that they are those people of the book, according to prophecies, according to curses, according to archaeology. We are the real biblical Jews of antiquity. We are the real biblical Israelites that the Bible speaks of. There is nothing more important than that. The whole planet is waiting on us to wake up so we could fix the waterways so nobody eats unclean food no more, so that the waters are finally filtered by the shrimp and the oysters as they should be. You understand? You wouldn't have to worry about pork being classified as a carcinogenic food. Why? Because in the kingdom, it'd be unlawful to consume so. Matter of fact, pork is not even considered food. The dietary law tells you what is considered food and what is not. And it's that simple. But in order for our system to be in effect, to be the one that's applied as far as the ruling system, we need to be in rulership. Because right now the ruling system is applying their rules, which is virtually no rules. You understand? Let's get this precept real quick. That's why it's so important for us to be in the truth. You understand? It's so important for us to know this truth. It's not just knowing the truth. Once you know it, you have to push the truth everywhere. There is no excuse for you to not push the truth. Let's go to Revelation chapter 10, verse 10 real quick. Let me share my screen. Any questions, comments? Of course, put it in the chat. I'm going to share the sign-in link as well. Make sure you click on the sign-in and sign-out link. And anyone who wants to be in the school, we have a number you could call in for Montreal and for Toronto, right? The number for Montreal would be 438-816-2578, 438-816-2578. And for Toronto, it will be 647-793-7844, 647-793-7844. Listen, call the number, man. You know, if you're a man or woman of Black, Latino, and Indigenous descent on their father's side, call the number. Do your 90 days. Change your lives, and you can help others change theirs as well. Time is short, man. You understand? You know, Salaki, I'm having technical difficulties, it seems. I share the screen. There you go. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 10, verse 10. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up. What is that book? That's the truth. That's the truth that is recorded in the Bible, which belongs to us, Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. It belongs to the Israelites. It was written by the Israelites for the Israelites, nobody else. Damn near all the letters of Paul are addressed to the Israelites. I don't want to say damn near, but all of them are addressed to the Israelites. You understand? It says, and I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up. Meaning, don't see the problem is we're not taught to read the Bible with context, because if you read it with no context, you think he's going to literally eat a book? Nah, man. It's like food for thought. That's the truth that you've been given all the time. You understand? And it was in my mouth, sweet as honey. Meaning it's good to learn the truth. It's a beautiful thing. You find out, yo, you're the greatest people on earth. It's amazing. You understand? It's amazing to learn that there is hope. Finally, you're not just, like your life doesn't stop at being on the block, being a criminal, being a whore, or whatever image they portray in the propaganda they push against our people. That's not our life. We're the greatest people on the planet. And it's amazing to know. It's beautiful to know that. It's as sweet as honey. It feels good to know that we finally have hope. We keep reading. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. Why? Why was your belly bitter once you ate up that book? Because now you look at your current life in the mirror. You're like, damn, you're such a disgusting being. How much you're hurting yourself and you're hurting others. Why? Because the beautiful thing is, as a woman, you're not just a whore. Hey, SHALAM, you're not just a whore as a woman. You have value. But now you're looking at how you devalued yourself by not sticking with that one man that uncovered your shame. For lack of better words, of course. You understand? It's bitter for you to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, yo, as a man, you created so much whores. How? Because you didn't stick with them. You slept with these women and you threw them away. So it's beautiful to know the truth, but at the same time, it's bitter because you're looking at yourself like, damn, I'm a disgusting being. All y'all smokers, I don't give a damn if you're a weed smoker, you smoke cigarettes, smoke crack, it don't matter. It's all the same. Y'all are sharing the pipe, the blunt, the spliff. Guess what? Y'all are akin to homosexuals. Y'all are licking the blunt all over and everything, especially the blunts. The blunts is a dry leaf of tobacco. The amount of saliva you have to put on this thing, you lick it all over, you light it up, and you pass it to your mandem. Listen, y'all smoking on each other's saliva. Don't you see how disgusting that is? Imagine that. But there is hope. Understand? There is hope that will make you feel even better about that disgusting being that you are. You could change. That's why we're in a period of grace right now. you could change and become a new creature in Christ. Everything is like a clean slate. That disgusting being would die for you to be reborn. Like the Christians talking about being a reborn Christian. They still molesting all the children in the church. Talking about being a reborn Christian. Did you see? I forgot, that was a long time ago. That video went viral. That whore was dipped in the water. She came out the water. Little whore. You know, the point is this. It's a beautiful thing to learn the truth and to know that that disgusting, filthy person that you are could be washed off of every filthiness that is upon them. How? By becoming a new person. Let's read the next verse, and then we get into the topic. Verse 11. And he said unto me, now that's the angel, you took the book, you ate it up, you learned the truth that you have to change. You understand that there is not one sin upon another. You learn the truth that sex is marriage, right? That the lifestyle you live, there's no such thing as an alternative lifestyle. That lifestyle is abominable. You understand? Now, what do you do next? Exactly what we're doing every day. Every day in classes, in these physical classes, these online classes, throughout social media, when we walk on the street, talking to brothers, passing flyers, business cards, and whatnot. Revelation 10 and 11. And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples. We're about to go to camp, June 27th. We will be in Toronto, in Sankofa Square, from 12 p.m. until Christ comes back. What do you mean? So I'll be out here after learning the truth, we're out here teaching it. Telling our people they have to change. They can change. So it's not so much so they have to change and there's no ways for them to change. They have to and they can. You understand? We're out here giving the hope to our people. That same good feeling when it's talking about the book, learning the truth, which is as sweet as honey, they need to see that as well. They need to feel that feeling of actually having hope. Don't be a selfish bastard and keeping the truth to yourself. To what avail? Christ was perfect, a flawless person. He didn't sin. You think he was selfish to himself? Like, yo, I don't have to die for these people. The hell, I'm not going to die for these people. Forget about it. Christ died for a whole nation. You understand? You also be selfless. You learn the truth. Now go out here and teach it. You understand? And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. And I'm going to have to pull another precept, right? Because people think, you know what? It's talking about many nations. You understand? A lot of people are going to talk about what it's talking about the heathenistic Gentiles, the non-Israelite Gentiles. No, it's not. It's not. Let me pull a precept. So, Lucky, let me pull the precept real quick. Again, the questions, comments, put it in the chat. I'm going to pull a precept real quick to show you. Listen, Revelation 14 and 3, right? It says, and they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000. It's talking about God's elect. If you don't know who it is the nation of Israel. 144,000 men. This is the government of Israel, of the nation of Israel. You understand? Which were redeemed from the earth. That's what the Lord is waiting for, 144,000 men. But nobody could learn that song except them. How? That's how you know it's not talking about these other nations. It's not talking about these other nations. You understand? If you want to go about what is it, Acts, in the book of Acts, when it's talking about speaking in tongues, it's talking about speaking in different languages. We're being redeemed from different nations. Listen, we're everywhere. There's brothers in the UK right now. There's brothers in Jamaica. You understand? Let us find an Israelite. Let us find the father of Naomi Osaka, a Levite that was born in Japan, right? That still be going to the other nations. See, I speak like 4 languages. That's me speaking in multiple tongues. That's what it's talking about in Revelation 10 and 11. Go teach the truth. We teach class. This class is in French, English, Spanish, Creole, Portuguese, name it. Now that we ate up the book, we go out here to teach our people. There's no such thing as a language barrier. Trust me, whatever language. Listen, there's a brother in the Netherlands, Ira. He speaks Dutch. Let him be raised to, I think, is he an officer already? You know, if not, it's probably a prophecy about him being raised up, and let him go out here and teach the Dutch Benjamites. There is no such thing as a language barrier. We speak in tongues. We have to. You understand? This is why it's so beautiful to be in the truth. It's like, damn. Don't be selfish. You have to teach the truth just like you were taught. Well, you're the only one who needs hope. That you could stop being a crackhead, you could stop being a lesbian, you could stop being whatever this, you could stop living whatever disgusting lifestyle you live. You're not the only one who needs hope. Children need hope in realizing they could grow in a different environment that is what's presented to them in modern day society. Our children need hope. Our children grow up hopeless. That's why a lot of us are destroyed since we're children, because we don't see no hope. Children grow up thinking like, yo, the rest of their life, they're going to be on the block, you know, selling dope. You know, young girls think that as a woman, as a Black, Latino, or Native, all they have to be is, you know, a sexual object. Well, you're more than that. You are the greatest people on earth. Yashar Allah in the Hebrew, Prince of the Power. All your sisters are princesses of Zion. You understand? We're not no hoodlums or whatever negative image you try to portray us in. No, that's not us. We are the ruling class of the earth, the chosen people. We're special. You understand? We're not like everybody else, right? But now that we got that out of the way, we're going to get into the topic of the class. Shout out to Aizan, hey, Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Shabrakata. Don't be on the Bigo, Yahweh Hashem Shabrakata. You understand? Let's get into it. So, for the people who are not aware, because I know I spoke Captain Azania, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Captain Azania, camp leader of upstate New York, right? I spoke to him, I think it was yesterday. Either way, we were talking about the recent unaliving that happened in the city of Montreal. And I'm going to pull up the article. Some incel, which is, for lack of a better word, some sexually frustrated devil, you know, drove from Alberta to Montreal and try and target the head office of Pornhub. And in doing so, he unalived the police officer. Yeah, that happened Monday, 11:30 a.m. While we watching Let a Hebrew Speak, some sexually frustrated devil is in a shootout with the police about 20 minutes away from where I live, targeting the head office of Pornhub. You know? So now, that happened, and that's what the topic of the class is. Because, as you know, this is the Brotherhood class. We teach about we should gather together and we should separate. But a lot of our people still think that there is hope in this empire. This example is a perfect example to show you that everything that is prophesied in the Bible is happening in front of us for signs, for us to finally wake up. What is it? Romans 13 and 11. It says it is high time to wake up, to get out of the darkness. But you decide to remain in the darkness. That's a problem because you're comfortable in it. You know, you rather Salaki, you rather remain in the dream that they gave you. We're gonna get into this quick article. You understand? I'm not gonna show a clip because the clip is graphic. I ain't trying to get the class clip. We see the officer laying down on the ground, unalived, blood splattered everywhere. We're gonna get some precepts. It is important for us to know that, as prophesied, our empire is being built. We're building the kingdom right now. When Christ said the kingdom is within you, the first thing you have to do is, for those who have ever done construction or renovation, what's the most important? Matter of fact, before we get into the article, what is the most important thing in a building or a structure? What is the most important thing? I just gave you a hint, by the way, in case y'all didn't know. What is the most important thing of a structure? Shalom, Dobi. I don't know if I saluted you already. On the Bigo. What is the most important thing in a structure? Right? It could be a house. It could be an apartment building. It could be a store. You understand? What is the most important thing? I gave y'all a hint. Sometimes I gave y'all too many hints. You know, Most High in Christ. See, I know I ain't trying to give too many hints. I give 2-3 hints. Isaiah is gonna end up with an answer. Most High in Christ, huh? You understand? The foundation. Meaning what? Every single kingdom has a similar foundation, which is the kingdom that preceded it. When I mean preceded, I'm talking about the kingdom that came before it. That is every single kingdom's foundation. This kingdom's foundation is the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire, the Greeks. Then you had the Persians, you had the Babylonians, you had the Assyrians. You understand? You had the Egyptians, so on and so forth. Thing is that's why every single kingdom has been a wicked kingdom. People don't see the pattern. Besides us being in captivity, right, which is the same. We've been in captivity throughout among these 18 nations. We've been captive to 17 of them because we're the 18th one. You understand? But all these major kingdoms all had the same foundation. That's why you have all these pagan deities being the same under different name. Astaroth, Astarte, Easter, you know, the so-called Virgin Mary is Semiramis, I think, if I'm not mistaken. You have Nimrod being Osiris and so on and so forth. Zeus. It's under different name, but it's the same deity. You understand? That's what the most important thing is, the foundation. As we're building a kingdom, we are the foundation of that kingdom. You understand? Because you could build it physically, but if the people who are part of a company in a building don't have the mindset to make the company run smoothly, the company is gonna go to the ground, right? If like you're building, like I'm gonna go even on a more worldly perspective. Like even when you're in a gang, when a criminal organization, you have to have the mindset, the mental to carry out certain acts and build this empire. The empire of the mafia or any criminal organization or whatnot, it's not the actual physical building. You understand? You need to have that mindset first. The mind, and what's in our mind is the laws, statutes, and commandments. Let me get that precept real quick, and then we get into the article. What is it again? Deuteronomy. I think it's Deuteronomy 4. It could be 5. Where it says we need to teach the children and have that as frontlets in between our eyes. Let me double check. Right. This is the most important thing. Is it goes along with having the law in your inward parts. Why? Because that's having the mindset to build this kingdom. Forget about a physical building. If you don't have the mindset, you're gonna run this to the ground. It's gonna go to Salak. It's gonna go to shit. Salak for my language. You know why? because some of them are going to be Muslims, others are going to be Christians, right? Some of them are going to be Buddhists, some of them are going to be Gnostic, whatever that is. Irish people are Gnostic. I don't even know what the hell that is. I just know it's not in the Bible, and it's a sin. That's all I know. I couldn't care. I don't know whatever you identify as. You know, if it's not in the Bible, it's a sin. That's all I know. Right. Let me go to it's in Deuteronomy. Bear with me 1 second. It's somewhere in Deuteronomy. Bear with me 1 second, right? If y'all got it, y'all put it in the chat. Yeah, that's right. The brother put Deuteronomy 6 and 8. I think that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Let's go there, right? For context, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 6, start verse 5. Let me share my screen. Deuteronomy 6 and 5. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart. We already covered it in multiple classes. What is the love of God? Is to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. What's the precept? 1 John chapter 3 and 5. And also like 1 John 5 and 3. You understand? First, the love of God is to follow the law. With all thine heart. Thine heart is thy mind. You need to put your mind into it. You understand? Listen, whatever you put into your mind, the body will follow, man. It's that simple. Again, if you don't have the right mindset, it's not going to be a solid foundation. If we're all scattered with different ideologies, there is no solid foundation. We have the blueprint right here. It's not like we don't have the blueprint. We have it right here. We just don't follow the plan. The blueprint's right here. Follow the laws. You'll be blessed. You will be above all people. You will rule. We don't follow the blueprint. And then we're astonished that our households are falling apart. Our community is destroyed. Our people is broken down. But we ain't follow the blueprint on how to build our houses, our community, and our nation according to the plan. Not that we don't have it. We just refuse. We just decide to freestyle. Let's read it again. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, meaning with your mind, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. There is no time for weakness. And if there's any weakness, you know what you do? You call for counsel. That doesn't mean you'll never get weak, but there is a solution for that. You will have to call for counsel and take heed to the counsel. Verse 6. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. See, set your mind straight from the beginning. Is it Ecclesiasticus 2 and 2, if I'm not mistaken? The whole your second chapter of Ecclesiasticus tell you how to stay strong in following the Lord, to set your mind all right. Verse 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. This is how you're going to raise your kids right, man, by them knowing the law. This is how you're going to raise your kids right. You don't even have to worry about your daughter being a prostitute. Why? Because according to the law, sex is marriage. There is a process, as a father, as a mother, as parents, on how you're going to teach your daughter to be, you're going to raise her up to be the wife that she will become. You're going to raise her up to be the woman that the Lord called her to be. You're not going to raise her up. I've seen this clip, even though in the clip it's not a daughter, it's a mom. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all have seen the clip. I'm definitely not going to pull that up. She's literally half naked. You understand? Literally half naked. I don't know what you want to call these. She's like in something that the attire she's wearing is deemed for a husband's eye only. Let me put it like that. And she's out here on the basketball court in broad daylight playing basketball, shooting hoops with her son. You understand? Listen, some people should not be parents. I'm telling you right now. And it's a sad thing to see. This is how you're gonna raise your son. Now, your son is either gonna grow up a homosexual, or all he's going to do is bring you whores at the house that you will feel are competing with you because you're a whore that has your son's attention. That's why. The point is this: when you teach them the law, you don't have to worry about how your kids are going to grow up. You don't have to worry about your son being sodomites, your son making whores out of women. You don't have to worry about that because your son knows sex is marriage, and he's never gonna treat a woman, you understand, like how the world teaches us to treat women. You don't have to worry about your daughter being a prostitute because she knows sex is marriage, and she has value where once there is a man that humbles her, she's not going to devalue herself by looking with what she feels. I don't know what people say today in the world. People say all types of dumb stuff in the world. Like, I don't feel like he's the one for me or whatnot. You felt it when you spread your legs to him, though. You put that mouth on him. Yeah, he definitely was the one for you at that time. You understand? He put his hands all over you. At the time, he was the one for you. Now, what made you change? What in your mind said, yo, nah, that wasn't right? That's done. Now you have to figure it out. Ain't no such thing as divorce. That's why it's so important for us to teach to raise our children in the truth. Remember the first precept we pulled up? Revelation 10:10, right? The truth. You eat up this roll, which is the truth. It's as sweet as honey. It's a good feeling to know that we're raising kids with standards, not little YNs, not little girls. Listen, you see girls, good night. I'll give you 1,000 examples. You see abominations on a daily basis. You go outside, 12-year-old are smoking weed, wearing pum-pum shorts. Like, yo, don't you have parents? I seen a brother with a bonnet today. I was like, yo, who's raising these little kids? I see the brother, probably like 13 years old, with a bonnet next to a young sister. And it's like, yo, you walking in the street like you're walking on the beach. And even on the beach, there's still a proper attire to wear as a sister on the beach. You understand? But then she could have been no older than what? 14? And it's like, damn, this is how your parents let you go out. It's so beautiful to have children that you can raise in the truth, to raise children in the truth. You understand? It's amazing because now you're not raising these little whores. You're making sure you're raising manly young men, not little effeminate boys that grow up because they have no proper father figure. The only father figure they see, they don't want to adopt it. Why? Because they see they're going to be taken down the wrong path. And if they don't adopt it, they're going to be effeminate, or they're going to be taken down the wrong path because they have a wrong idea of what it is to be a masculine man. All these so-called masculine men, you know what they do? They're emotional as hell. They're probably damn worse than females because you expect a woman to be emotional. But as a man, you can't be that emotional where you unalive one another over stepping on each other's shoes. Unaliving each other for what? For a block that don't belong to you anyways. Like the people who unalive the rapper from Jacksonville, Fulio, they're saying, well, it's definitely not worth it. They're never coming out. Ever. You understand? But let's get back to the precept real quick. Salaki. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and thou shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house. Listen, and that's Israelite culture. Y'all go on ChatGPT. I sent this to Captain Yarash of Samashamar. I just, out of curiosity, even also Hazahab, I looked up the Israelite lifestyle, the Israelite daily routine. Our life is simple. Did you know that? Our life is extremely simple. And that's part of our lifestyle, teaching the laws to our children, rehearsing the righteous acts. That's part of our lifestyle. Today, we're prey to all manners of, sin, because that's what's being pushed in today's society. But part of our lifestyle is teaching our children how to live according to the law. You understand? You know, I'm gonna give myself as an example, right? And you're gonna finish that because I'm trying to be long-winded. I'm telling y'all, I ain't trying to make two-part classes, but if needed be, so be it. Growing up, me personally, right? When I was in the world, it was never so bad for me to smoke weed. What I mean that is like my parents didn't really give a damn. My dad was more so like, yeah, it was safer for me to smoke weed with him as opposed to not smoking weed at all or smoking weed with people outside. You understand? That's what I'm saying. And it's really, when you look into it, it's just wrong, period. It's a lot. You know? It's just wrong, period. Like I grew up and I was told growing up before coming to the truth, like, it's not bad you selling weed, just don't sell crack, don't sell cocaine. Like you don't think much of it until it's like, yo, wait a minute, you're selling drugs anyways. People are still getting high and still killing themselves. It don't matter if it's crack, cocaine, or pills. You know, it don't matter. But part of our lifestyle is to teach our children to live according to the law, not according to today's society standard where it's all right for parents to get high with their children. I knew a cat, he was shooting up heroin with his dad. I said, damn. In the truth, you learn that there's really no difference as smoking with your dad, shooting up heroin. But in the world, you're like, damn, shit. You understand? Let's get back to it. That's why it's so beautiful to be in this truth, man. And when thou walkest by the way, and when thou lies down, and when thou risest up, meaning you always focus on the law. That's what it means. You go to sleep, the law should be on your mind. Whatever you do, the law should be on your mind. You go to eat, the law should be on your mind. You understand? You go to court a sister. Yo, ask her, where's she from? Ask her, she has a man. She has a man, she's off limits. She's a heathen, forget about it. And then ask her name. That's it. The first two questions is about her having a man and if she's a heathen. Think about the law every single time. When you don't think, that's why you're like, yo, smoking ain't that bad. Because you don't think. You don't even know the law. You don't think like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I could sleep with her. You don't think. That's why you do all sorts of mistakes according to sin. Because you don't think. When you think of the law all the time, ask yourself, yo, is it a sin to do such and such? You're not sure? You call for counsel. You call your camp leader, man. That's a cheat code. You ask questions in the scripture breakdowns. Talking about questions, any questions or comments, put it in the chat. You know, that will prevent you from sinning. You understand? Can you eat certain candies? Yes, yeah, especially these days. There's pork in everything. You ask, yo, is this lawful? Before you eat it and say, well, I didn't know if it was lawful or not. You know there's pork in candies. Just read the ingredients. It's going to say seaweed gelatin or beef gelatin is lawful. If it just says regular gelatin, you know it's pork. Always think about the law. That's what you should always have in your mind. You understand? Verse 8 and 9 was the main focal point. I just read from verse 5 for context. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 8. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and it shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. Some cat put that in the chat, talking about having a frontlet between your eyes. It's not those phylacteries that you see the Jewish man having. No. It's talking about doing the law, acting according to the law. That's what it's talking about when it's talking about bind them for a sign upon thine hand. And shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. What is between your eyes? Your mind, your brain, what you think with. You understand? That's what it's talking about. You act according to the law, and that law should be set in stone in your mind or in your heart, not in your ribcage. In your heart is your mind. You understand? And that's the strong foundation of the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom that is within us. That's the foundation. Right? So now, let me start at verse 8. We're going to get into this I don't even want to get into this article really, but we're going to get into what is going on in the planet and how we see a pattern with everything that is going on today and everything that happened in the previous empires. We're going to get into some precepts to show you that, yo, listen, Christ is coming back tomorrow. You better be ready. It's no time for us to have strife between one another. It's no time for us to quarrel upon, irrelevant things. And if you do, you squash that beef right away, man. Go to him and him alone. Go to her and her alone. If the offender hears how they offended you, they apologize, it's squashed. It is not even locked somewhere in the archives. It's dead and gone. There was never an issue. If they don't hear you, you take it to counsel, you have it fixed. Counsel, remember that. Counsel is never to shame a brother or sister. It's to gain a brother or sister. That's what counsel is for. You understand? Let me get to the question, and then I'm gonna get into what I wanted to talk about, right? Aizan said, Salakia, so when the small hats tie that box to their heads, is that them taking it literal? Khan, a lot of things that these imposters do, they take it literally. They don't know the Bible. That's how you know they don't know the Bible. They don't know the Torah, because that's in the Torah. There's another thing. What's else in the Torah? Thou shalt not eat of the kid. That's, there's a precept about not eating. It's in the dietary law. Not eating a kid that is not weaned yet. Because of that, they do not eat burgers. Literally. The so-called Jewish men do not eat burgers. I don't know if you know that, Aizan. They say it's unlawful to eat burgers. Right? Why? Because of that precept that says don't eat a kid that is still on his mother's milk. So they don't eat cheeseburgers specifically because it's the beef with the cheese that is made out of milk. I'm just paraphrasing, right? What it's talking about is don't eat veal that hasn't been weaned yet. That's why when you give an offering of the first lamb of the first year, it takes about a year for the lamb to be weaned and not be on his mother's milk. Now, if you would eat veal that is not eating grass but is still sucking on his mother's milk, that would be unlawful. But they take it so literally, they say, well, you can't eat cheeseburgers. You have to put a box on your head and tie a rope around your arm. You understand? That's what they do. Why? Because they're not the people of the book. Therefore, they don't know how to follow the book. Just like they're no different than Christians. They're no different than Christians during the communion. They eat like dry little pieces of bread that are disgusting as hell and drink grape juice to represent the body of Christ and the blood. That's what they do. They're no different than Christians who will dip you in the water talking about you being water baptized. And now you're cleansed of sins. If that answers your question, Isaac. And Shalom, Kamar, Shabbat. So now, where was I again? Damn. Any questions or comments, y'all put it in the chat. I lost my train of thought. So I guess I'm just going to the similarities of what's going on in these empires and how is referring to Christ coming back. Let me share my screen. Right. Y'all can look this up, but just for y'all, so that we don't make it too long-winded, I went on Chat GPT for y'all, right? Went on Chat GPT for y'all just to make it easier. So went on Chat GPT and I asked this question for y'all, right? It says, what were signs of empires' decline before they fell, such as the Egyptian, Persian, Babylonian, Assyrian, and Greek and Roman Empire? Why did I ask this question? Because again, these empires had one thing in common. All of them had one thing in common. We were captives in these empires. And it's so important because of the topic of the class and the precept we're about to bring out, right? No sweat, Aizan. I am the bar. The water to you. Why is it so important? Because these are signs that Christ told us to look out for. These are signs that are provided to us for us to look out when it comes to coming back to the returning of Christ, to our redemption. You understand? Now, don't be, I see in the chat, if you have a question or comment, if you have a question, just put it in the chat. I didn't see a question. If you want to be facetious, no sweat. I'll deal with you later on the app. So, some of the signs that happen in all these empires that fell are happening today. We're about to go through it a bit, right? So while every empire is different, historians often notice recurring patterns before major empires decline. And there's a term, I think it's called, I covered that with Captain Kazak Ahmad, it's called, what is it called again? It's an effect. I'm going to tell you right now. It's an effect. It's called damn. I forgot. It was coined during the Greek. It's a Greek word. It's an effect. I forgot what it is. I'm gonna probably bring it to y'all next class or whatnot. How the slow rise of an empire and its quick decline. Right? Y'all look it up. Y'all look it up. The slow rise of an empire and its speedy or quick decline. You understand? There's a term for it. And this is what every single empire went through. And this is what this empire is going through right now. But let's keep reading a bit more. The timing and causes vary, but many of the ancient empires you mentioned showed several of these warning signs, such as political instability, economic problems, military overstretch, corruption and declining institutions, social division, external pressure, loss of cultural confidence, right? And now it's going to go into each of these empires, Salakia, each of these empires individually, right? But we're going through it right now. Economic collapse. Listen, I just went out of curiosity to check the conversion between the Canadian and the US dollar. It's almost the same value now. Listen, the US dollar is waterfalling. You will not believe it. You understand? The US dollar is waterfalling. You understand? Gold damn near crashed. Gold attained what? Gold went to about $6,000 an ounce a couple months ago. Now it fell to like $3,500. Why? Because the war is calming down temporarily. You understand? It's all about the BRICS and alternate currencies. That's part of the decline of this empire. The US dollar, which is the petrodollar, backed by oil. It used to be backed by gold. Now it's backed by oil. You understand? Is losing its value. You're trying to replace it with the BRICS. They're talking about crypto. They're talking about everything to destroy, because every country has to rely on the US dollar, right? They're trying to remove the US dollar from being the main currency that everybody has to rely on. That's number one. What else we read about, right? I'm just giving y'all a bit quick for time's sake. And y'all feel free to let me know if I'm too long-winded, yeah? You understand? Political instability. Aizan say anacyclosis. Is it? No, that's not the term I'm looking for. When I'm talking about this, I think it's the Seneca effect, as a matter of fact. Let me see. Seneca effect. Is it? Could it be the Seneca effect? Yes. I appreciate Aizan. You just reminded me of it. It could be anacyclosis as well. Let me look it up. Let me see. Anacyclosis. No, so it's not it. Anacyclosis is an ancient Greek theory describing the predictable cyclical pattern of political evolution where government degenerate, collapse, and repeat the cycle. You could put it there as well for the reason that you have a lot of devils that are that's what they do. They analyze it and they're trying to predict what's going to happen in the political movement or whatever they call it. That's where you would put anacyclosis. What I'm talking about is the Seneca effect, right? I'm gonna put it on the screen for y'all. Just for edification purposes, and then we go back to the other signs of this society collapsing. The Seneca effect, also known as the Seneca cliff, is the principle that complex systems tend to collapse or decline much more rapidly than they grow. Coined by system scientist Ugo Bardi, the term is named after the ancient Roman philosopher Seneca, who wrote, "Fortune is not sluggish of growth, but ruin is rapid." So I stand corrected. It was named after the Roman. Either way, that's what it is, Seneca effect. You see how it takes a minute for an empire to attain such high status, or let me call it not status, but anyways, you get the point, right? And they're quick to fall. Every empire is the Egyptian, the Mayan Empire. That's only because we sinned during the Mayan Empire, right? The Mayan and Inca Empire only fell because the Israelites started sinning. Every empire is the same. It takes a minute to build wealth, to build economy, to build a military structure, to build a foundation, and to keep building that empire until when it reaches a certain pinnacle. When it starts falling, it's a snowball effect. It keeps falling like it can never be stopped, right? And the following empire is built on the foundation of that same empire that fell. You understand? So now, economic collapse. What else? We read about political instability. Doesn't matter if it's the liberals, the conservatives, I call them the Kirkists, people who follow Charlie Kirk. The Commonwealth, because a lot of countries are still under the crown of the United Kingdom. You understand? Again, with economic problems, heavy taxation, inflation, debt, currency. Let's get back to it, right? Let's go detail by detail. What else? Power struggles among the elites. When you go into the military overstretch, it's talking about fighting wars on multiple fronts. You can't make this up. Listen, this is exactly what the Bible is describing. War on all sides. They have to worry about fighting wars outside of their nation and at home. It's not an Arab terrorist that unalived a police officer in my city. It was a sexually frustrated white man. That's what happened. You understand? It says in, Job 18:11, terror shall be on all sides. They have to worry about the sleeper cells from Asia, from Iran, from all these Ukraine, Muslim countries or whatnot. They have to worry about fighting wars over there in the Middle East. They have to worry about fighting wars at home. There's a race war, a civil war that's brewing. That's what it's talking about. That's the same thing that happened in Egypt when Egypt got split. The same thing that happened in the Roman Empire. You know what happened in the Roman Empire? The Edomite side, that's Eastern Rome, fell. And the Byzantine side, where we were ruling, you understand? That's how we took over Europe, from the Byzantine and from all the mercenaries that we sent from the Roman Empire. We became the Vikings and so on and so forth, and we conquered Europe from there for a temporary amount of time, of course. You understand? But every single empire is the same. When you keep going down, and y'all can look it up yourself. If y'all need me to send this to you, so y'all could go point by point, I'm gonna send it to you. Just let me know, right? Growing reliance on mercenaries or foreign troops, corruption and decline of institution, social division, where there's growing gap between rich and poor. That's what the white man is always talking about, is the rich versus the poor. The law is enforced unevenly. Martial law, us being targeted by ICE agents. You understand? Stop and frisk, racial disparities, public trust in leadership declines. Nobody trusts the government. Should I keep going on? Ethnic, regional, and class tensions, reduce loyalty to the state. Should I keep going on? Listen, anyone who wants that conversation with ChatGPT, or y'all can look it up yourself, you will see every single empire went through the same. Egypt, the Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, it says the Neo-Babylonian, the Assyrian, it was all the same. Civil wars, internal and external disputes, right? The point is this: we're going to get into some precepts to let you know that this has been prophesied, and you better come out of her, my people, like it's prophesied in the Bible. It was told to you. You have to separate from this kingdom. Let me get real quick Isaiah chapter 31, right? Isaiah 31, I'm going to read verse 1 to 3, because it tells you this kingdom is going to fall. And because you keep wanting to join yourself with them, you will fall with it. That's why, like I said, it's beautiful to be in the truth. Once you learn the truth, you also have to teach it. It's not so much so like, it's our duty to save our people, man. You understand? If you truly love your people, you would teach them. You tell them, listen, hey, come to class. You can't force them to come to class, but you give them at least. Their blood can't be on your hands because you told them what they're doing is wrong. You gave them the solution to stop smoking crack, to stop being a prostitute, to stop piling up bodies and having abortions. You gave them the solution. Now it's up to them to actually step in the school, putting all black, as a woman covering their head. It's up to them. But at least you gave them the keys. You give them the solution to the equation. Just the fact that you have the truth, you know it. Now you go out here and teach it. You understand? There's multiple ways to teach the truth. When I say that, because we know, you have to pass your officer's test. As a sister, you cannot break down scriptures to a congregation of men or whatnot. But you could tell another sister, you're sharing your man. Why? Because ain't nothing wrong with it. The Bible don't speak against it. You believe in the Bible. You want more information? Hey, you could tune into the class of whatever your zone is. Oh, we have a physical building. You know what? The Nashville cookout is coming up next weekend. Come get some food. Come experience brotherhood. Come experience sisterhood. Next what? Midwest Fire Weekend? Come to the cookout, man. Somebody talking smack about Mexicans. You say, I love Mexicans. Why do you love Mexicans? They hate black people. Well, you know what? It's like a sibling rivalry. It's no more than a sibling rivalry. That's it. But I love Mexicans because they're my people. It's that simple. You can't teach as a trooper. You can't teach as a sister. You just say, I love Mexicans. They're my people. They're my brothers. I love Dominicans. I'm a Haitian. I love Dominicans. They're my brothers. You understand? Damn right. Also, Kamar in the chat say, your white homeboys are not invited to the cookout. They're definitely not. They're not so white because of their skin complexion, but because of their lineage. If they're of Caucasian descent, of Edomite lineage, they're not invited to the cookout. Not our cookout at all. Maybe Charleston White cookout, which is the reason why Carmelo Anthony got 35 years, but not the cookout of the Lord. Let's get Isaiah 31:1. It's the book of Isaiah chapter 31, verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. Woe means death and destruction. Why? Because you go down to your captors, to the people that have you in captivity. That's what the word Egypt means. It's just a Greek word for a captivity or house of bondage, where you are held as a slave. And stay on horses and trust in chariots. You understand? Hey, Shalom. Hey, what's going on, sis? You understand? Why? Because you think America is untouchable. You think Great Britain is untouchable. Don't you know, listen, this is so funny to me. Europe became a Muslim continent. People don't even see that. So many, the white men who say Europe is a Christian or Catholic continent, Poland, Russia, France, Like I speak with people from France all the time because I'm a French Benjamin. I'm from the Caribbean islands, right? And I speak with people from the UK as well. Yo, they have a different type of disdain for non-white people because they are being replaced by Africans and Arabs and East Indian that are all bringing Islam to Europe. Canada is no different. They're bringing all the East Indians. You understand? But you think white people think they're untouchable because of the military might that they portray, not knowing for someone who don't know, right? You would think, yeah, America's the greatest country. America is weak as hell. Do you know how Caucasian people took America? It's not like they teach it. If you speak to a white person, they say, yeah, we fought fair and square with the natives and we won. That's a lie. They poisoned them. That's what happened. They poisoned them with blankets filled with smallpox and all types. Listen, all those sexually transmitted diseases come from white Europeans. You understand? Look it up. Smallpox. They brought that. They didn't even cough by accident in the native's face and it spread through the community. No, they purposely poisoned them with these blankets. It was not fair and square. It purposely poisoned them. And when they were weak enough, then they unalived everybody else. You know what? As a matter of fact, something else happened before that. They slaughtered all the buffalo to purposely starve the Native American Indians. That's what white people did. Damn right, Isaiah. Chemical warfare. That's what happened. They did that to the Mexicans as well. Was it in the 1920s? They were spraying Mexicans at the border. I think it's called the something bath. I forgot what it's called. They were saying the Mexicans who come from the border, I don't like to use that term. They call them paisas, right? I don't like to use that term, but they're saying these Mexicans are dirty and bringing diseases. So white people sprayed Mexicans with some type of chemical. Isaiah, get me right. I forgot what it's called. Some type of chemical. I think it's called Capone. Kepone, if I'm not mistaken. They poisoned the people of Martinique and Guadeloupe, where I'm from, the French, until like 1993 with Claude Decon. Now my island in Guadeloupe, 90% of the population are affected by that, and we have the highest rate of prostate cancer in the world. You understand? Imagine that. And that's how the white man won. He will make you think he's strong. Do you know they lost a war in Afghanistan for like 20 years? White people who make you think they're all about technology, they're the strongest, they're tough Americans. They lost against people that hide in caves and throw rocks at each other. Literally, for 20 years, they were in Afghanistan talking about weapons of mass destruction, this and that. America has drones. They manufacture weapons. Forget about getting drones from China or anywhere else. They manufacture weapons. They have F-35s. They have the latest of the latest, and they lost wars against people wielding rusty AK-47 from Russia. America is not as tough as they claim to be. They're not. Just because our oppressor is a violent being doesn't mean he's actually strong. His strong point is lying, propaganda. That's the strong point of the oppressor. Even when we were ruling in Europe, when they came back in power, it's not because they just overtook us. We weakened ourselves because of multiple internal family beefs and wars. They just swept in. They were never strong. But because of the military might they portray in the movies, they portray in TV when it comes to a military display, that's why you think, yeah, you know what? We have to trust in America. We have to trust in Canada. We have to trust in the UK because they have F-35s. Because mustache man, however you want to call him, the one who committed a quote unquote genocide in the 1940s, dropped a nuclear bomb. That's why. Listen, white people are so weak. They say that we're lazy. Blacks and Latinos are lazy, right? During segregation, we had Black Wall Street and multiple other communities that we established because we had no choice but to rely on ourselves. You know what they did? They lazy as opposed to trying to compete with us, to try and prove to us that we're lazy, to try and prove to us that they're better than us by being able to pick themselves up by the bootstraps. You know what they did as opposed to work on their economy and rely on themselves? They literally bombed us. Look it up. The first aerial attack on America, right? The first bomb, if I'm not mistaken, on America was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They bombed their own country, which was a black neighborhood of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Why? Because white people were poor and black people were doing better than them. That's why. They're cowards. They can't even work on themselves. They have to hurt them. They rather hurt themselves if it means to destroy us than to prove to us that they're better than us. You understand? Aizan said they use a chemical called Zicton B. Yeah, I think that's the one. If I'm not sure, I know they use Capone as well. They also use Agent Orange in Puerto Rico. Listen, they use a bunch of chemical warfare on us. That's the point. Is this right? Let's get back to Isaiah 31, verse 1. It says, "Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots, because they are many." You think you're gonna lose because you got conquered? Do you not know how they conquered you? It was not because of their strength. What's the name of the brother? I think he's a Taino brother or Inca brother. He got both of his arms cut off. He literally put 2 blades in his arm. He's a famous one. 2 blades in his arm, and he went to war with the Spaniards. That man was no coward. He cut both of my arms off. You think I can't fight? That's how you know we are a warrior people. You understand? You're trying to exterminate us, and guess what? We're still here. There's no such thing as exterminating the blacks, the Latinos, or the natives. It's not going to work. They're going to try the hardest way possible, but no, we'll still thrive. The more you oppress us, it's like in Egypt, the more we'll thrive. Even worse, keep oppressing us to the point where we have to realize we have no choice but to rely on each other once more. We'll thrive even more. That's what we do in the ISUPK. We rely on one another. You understand? Damn right, as I said, the German later used this idea in World War II. Listen, what you're going to learn is that the Nazis learned from the Americans. Everything that was done to the small hats was done to the natives and the Mexicans and the Latinos in America before it was done in Europe in the 1940s, in case people didn't know that. We were like the guinea pigs for what happened over there in Europe, right? Let me keep reading for time's sake. And in the horsemen, because they are very strong, you trust in the quote-unquote strength of America. I'm going to show you where America says is weak. It's not as strong as you think. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. You don't look at the Lord like, yo, you're going to seek help from the Lord. The Lord says it multiple times, right? He'll be an adversary to our adversaries. He will fight for us like he fought for us in Egypt. He don't give a damn about numbers. Just trust in him. And you gonna see what the Lord did in Egypt. He turned the water into blood. He killed every firstborn. You understand? In a matter of like during the night. The Lord who created everything, you can't trust in him, but you trust in someone that will create a gun to unalive himself. Imagine that. You rather trust into a firearm that will run out of bullets than the Lord that will abide here forever. No sweat. Let's keep reading and see what happens. Verse 2. Yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words and will arise against the house of the evildoers. That's the Lord. The Lord is wise, you understand? And he will arise against the house of evildoers. Don't think that the punishment of our oppressor is not coming just because it took a minute. Just like it took a minute for Pharaoh to be displaced from his throne, the Lord is setting the stage. You see how every nation after we got freed from Egypt were like, yo, damn, I ain't messing with these Israelites. What's the woman in the city of Jericho? She told the spies that was sent by Joshua, yo, I heard what the Lord done for y'all. I ain't messing with y'all. Spare my family. That's what she told them. She said, this said, word is bond. Hide us and don't snitch where you hate us on the rooftop, and we got you. You and your family will be safe. The heathens know. You read in the book of, what is it, Judith in the Apocrypha, 5:20. They know if we sin, we're going to be at their mercy. But if we don't, the Lord will make an example out of them. But he needs to set up the stage for this. It's not like, yo, if you just, step on an ant. The enemy, he needs to, that's why he hardened Pharaoh's heart multiple times. So that he thinks he's so powerful that he's untouchable. And then when the Lord comes, he destroyed that pride and like, oh, damn. Well, the people who we thought was untouchable, they got brought down with the quickness by an unbelievable power. Just like the stage was set in Egypt for us to be free, the stage is being set right now with these plagues. There were, 3 earthquakes yesterday or 2 days ago in Venezuela, the US, and Japan. It says it will be earthquake in diverse places. Now, you can't tell me it's a coincidence about a tectonic plates or whatnot. This is biblical prophecy. Let's keep reading for time's sake. Salakia. And one quick thing. The Lord said the punishment of someone, understand, sometimes you might think it's going to tarry, but no, it will eventually happen. As prophesied, our salvation will happen. And everybody will be witness of it. Keep reading. Against the help of them that work iniquity. Verse 3 is the focal point, like I told you. You're going to stand with this empire. You're going to fall with it. Isaiah chapter 31, verse 3. Now, the Egyptians are men. Don't people say we all bleed red? Isn't that what they like to say? We're all humans? What human is stronger than God? Now, the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horse is flesh and not spirit. Listen, just like flesh. You could break my flesh. You could break my fingers right now, but my spirit will remain the same, untouchable. Now these are flesh that could be broken, legs, hooves, head torn apart. You'll see the damage. They will bleed to death. You understand? They could be destroyed physically. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they all shall fail together. Stop trying to fix this nation, man. This nation is falling apart. You can't prevent the decline of this empire. You can't save white society. If you could have, you would have, though. That's why you're trying to fight so hard for it, but you can't. That's why you have to separate from it, not physically, because its influence is everywhere. It's not about spiritually. Abandon the customs of America. Stop celebrating their holidays. Stop, adopting their custom of such depravity. Stop worshiping money like they taught you to. Come learn this truth and push the truth. That's what you have to do. Gird up your loins. Get ready for Christ to come back. You want to prepare yourself like Christ is coming back tonight. You understand? That's what you want to do. Let me get Jeremiah real quick, and then we'll get into the verse of the topic of the class. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon. It says the same thing in Revelation 18 and 4. Just so y'all know, the New Testament does nothing but quote the Old Testament. The Bible is all about this, right? I think people have a misconception it's a religious book. No, it's not. The Bible is the historical record of our people. How our people were brought to life. How our people made a mistake, and how our people is going back to the good side of the Lord, right? Not only that, the Bible is all about getting back what Adam lost, his place in the Garden of Eden. That's why Christ was the first Adam and the last Adam. He made things right from when he messed up in the Garden of Eden. You understand? Now, did it take a minute? Yes. Just like every good movie. This is the greatest script on the planet Earth. It's the greatest script for a movie, for a video game, for a TV show. The only difference is that this is real life and we're living in it. You are all the main characters of the Bible. The heathens are NPCs. And every major empire, see it like that as a video game, right? All these major empires were what? They were just bosses in the game, whether it's the Egyptians, the Persians, the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Edomites. America is the final ultimate boss of the game, where now you achieved the final level, you beat the final boss. You understand? Of course, Christ will defeat them and will be brought back in our land, be brought back in the Garden of Eden from where we have been kicked out. We haven't been in for how long we have been in the Garden of Eden, man? It's all about having access to that land of flowing milk and honey, that prosperous land, that fertile land. What is called the Fertile Crescent. The fertile land is not in Africa. The fertile land is what is today known as the Fertile Crescent, Mesopotamia, modern day Iraq, the whole goddamn Middle East. That's where it is. Middle East is a new term coined in what, in 1940s or something like that? 30s, I could be mistaken. The point is this. This whole area is our land. It's not supposed to be looking like a desert, looking like a parking lot. No, it's literally a fertile land. It is. You understand? This is where we dwell. This is our land, and we're getting back to it. That's what the Bible is all about. Us being redeemed and being put back to where Adam messed up. You understand? That's it. Adam had to work all days of his life. And then we had to die. That's why the Lord flooded the earth. He said, you know what? I ain't dealing with these. I ain't dealing with them. I ain't arguing with these niggas. Methuselah Daniel lived 1,000 years. After that, the Lord said, you know what? You want to mess up and I'm going to argue with you now. Y'all ain't living more than 120 years. When Christ comes back, we're about to live like in the times of Noah, in the times of Moses. Today, we barely live like what, 60, 80 years. Few of us attain 100 years old, looking all dried up like a raisin. In the time of Christ, you're going to be dried up as a raisin when you reach that, what, 300 years old, 400 years old, who knows? Lord allow Methuselah age. But we're doing the right thing. That's what it's all about. It's all about us messing up from the Garden of Eden and doing the right thing. That's what it's all about. And how can you do the right thing if you don't know how to do it? Where can you know how to, you know what? Where can you learn how to do the right thing? In these classes that we teach damn near on a daily basis. You have no excuse to not be in these classes. You don't have a physical school? Guess what? You tune into the online classes. You understand? That's what you do. I'm an officer. This is Officer 1000 RDR, Officer 1000 Shire 1. I'm also a 500 Barak Yala in Canada, where we still working on the physical school. Did that stop us from coming to the truth? No. You're looking for an excuse to not be in the truth. Just like a lot of people look for an excuse to leave the truth. You understand? There's no disagreement. You wanted to get high, so you're going to say someone offended me, and then, I left. You're biased in the council. I'm just making up a scenario, right? The point is, you're looking for an excuse to leave the truth. You're going to blame it on the truth or a disagreement or a council. You're going to blame it on anything. Just like when you men take a wrong woman for a wife, you do it on purpose to sleep with a whore. Because if she leaves, you're going to say, Salaki, sir, she was a whore anyways. But you chose that whore on purpose to not be held accountable in case she left your ass. This is here you learn how to do the right things. When you have a problem, you learn how to fix the problem. There's a solution right here. Like, if you don't want to go by the blueprint, you will be at fault. Just like we were always at fault. Adam had the blueprint. He gave the blueprint to his woman. She didn't listen. And he decided to listen to her, who didn't listen. What happened? Now we have to fix the mistake that was done since the Garden of Eden. That's what's going on. You understand? Let me stop being long. Let me get back to the precept for time's sake, right? What is it? Isaiah 51:6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon. That's how you got to prepare yourself. Like it says in Revelation 18:4, come out of my people. It's quoting this, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Let me jump down to, I think it's verse what, 8 or 9. Verse 8 or 9. You go to verse 8. Jeremiah chapter 51:8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? You see, we just went through it. Whether it's Izan or anyone who tuned in, if you want me to send you the conversation I had with ChatGPT, listen, y'all go on Google, y'all look at documentaries. It's going to be the same. It tells you how every single empire fell. All these, they went through similar steps before the decline of these empires. This empire, which is the daughter of Babylon, is falling. It has fallen. You understand? You see like a stone tower, all these stones are falling apart. You can't fix it. It's falling too quick to fix. That's exactly what it is right now, right? Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Howl meaning cry, mourn, like it says in Revelation 18. Take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. It means fix white society, fix America, fix Canada, fix the UK. You can't. And it tells you that right here. If you could have, you would have. Guess what? You can't. And you should not even want to fix it. Why would you want to fix the empire that is only thriving off of your blood, sweat, and tears and your oppression? That doesn't make sense. That's how it says in Isaiah chapter 1:5, I think. The whole head is sick. Why would you try to fix the house of the people who murder you and rape you on a daily basis? You understand? Jeremiah 51:9. We would have healed Babylon, but she's not healed. If you could have done it, you would have. You still trying to, believe it or not. Guess what? You can't do it. Forsake her and let us go, everyone into his own country. Whether it's a race war, a world war, a civil war are going to be on all fronts. You understand? Khan, I got you, Izan. I think I have you on Facebook. I got you. I'm going to send it to you. Right? Everyone is, listen, when you see when Palestine got bombarded by these imposters, the Arab world rallied behind Palestine, as they should. They're Muslim brothers. They're Arab brothers, right? If you look at right now, y'all go, you can find this damn near everyone's social media. Look at the right-wing marches in Europe. They're doing the Nazi salute in Italy. They're marching to make Poland white again. The UK, good night. UK and France is diabolical. Y'all think y'all seeing white nationalist marches in America? Y'all go look up at the clips of Europe, which is the birthplace of white supremacy. Y'all think America is the most racist place on earth. Y'all look at the clips in France. Y'all look at the clips in the UK. Look at Poland. You can't be black in Poland. You can't be black in Russia. You're going to be chased down and beat down to death. In America, at least, there's racist, but, you know, emancipation and whatnot. Go to the birthplace of white supremacy. It is a no-go zone for our people. Everyone is going to go into his own country, to their own land. The Africans are going to join together, and they kicked out all the French and they invited the Chinese in. Not that joining with another people is going to be the solution, but the point is everyone is going to stick with their own. There is no such thing as integration no more. Whether you like it or not, that's done away with. That should have never happened in the first place. It happened and God had to destroy it. Since the flood, what do you mean? The flood was all about interracial marriage. The sons of God sleeping with the daughters of men. The Tower of Babel was the first integrated society. That was the first. Everybody building a tower so we could reach the heights of God and the power of the Lord and whatnot. God divided the languages. He divided the people. He said, no, I never meant for everybody to be together. You know how you know he never meant for everybody to be together? Because out of all humans that he created, he chose one. There's always a chosen people. Adam was chosen. Adam and Eve. You understand? And then it went down the bloodline. All right, Abel was killed and it passed down to Seth. He didn't try to save Seth and Cain. He got passed down to Noah. Noah out of all was chosen. Out of all the Chaldeans, who was chosen? Abraham. Out of all the kids, only Isaac mattered. Not, listen, Ishmael was kicked out with a bottle of water in the desert with his mom. Literally, a bottle of water and a loaf of bread. That's in the Bible. You understand? Don't believe the Muslim that the promise was given to Ishmael. That's a lie. Promise was given to Isaac. Ishmael was cast out with the bond women. You understand? With a bottle of water and a loaf of bread. But he wasn't the only kid. Abraham had like 7, 8 other kids. Only Isaac was chosen, though. Isaac had Jacob and Esau. Guess what? Only Jacob was chosen. It was always about a chosen people, not about everybody. It was never meant for everybody to be saved. This Bible was not for everybody. It was from a chosen people from Adam until the 12 tribes of Israel, who are the only remaining people that are chosen. You understand? Let's keep reading for time's sake. For her judgment reached unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. Let me go to, what was the precept I wanted to bring out with the topic of the class? Seditions among men. That's really important. Let's go into the Apocrypha. I think it's, yeah, 2nd Ezra is chapter 15. All these are signs that are happening, right? 2nd Ezra 15 is also Matthew 12. I think it's 12 and 24, if I'm not mistaken. 12 and 25. It says, Satan shall cast out Satan. Yeah. Second Ezra chapter. Let's go chapter 15 and start at verse 14. Yeah. Make sure you click on the sign in and sign out links in the class as well. Bear with me 1 second. Just put the sign out links in the class. Share my screen. Salakia. Second Ezra chapter 15 verse 14. Woe to the world. The word world do not mean the whole planet Earth. The word world means age, society, empire, the Roman world, the Persian world. The perfect precept. Y'all put that in your precept book, right? Luke 2 and 1. When Caesar put out a decree to tax the Roman world, he didn't tax the Americas. He did not tax Australia. He didn't tax Japan. He taxed the Roman Empire, which included every single territories that the Roman was over, every single piece of land that the Romans conquered. That's what it's talking about. When it's talking about world, it's talking about age or society, the extent of the empire. You understand? It says death, destruction to the society and them that dwell therein. Meaning what? You better separate from this society, man. It says death and destruction to y'all because you are part of this society. You refuse to separate because you marvel at this fake sense of strength from this society. What is it again? I think it's in Zechariah, if I'm not mistaken. It's in Zechariah where it says, it could be Zechariah, where it says that the nakedness of the daughter of Babylon will be shown. Listen, damn. See, that's a problem. Listen, you have so many precepts that you know by heart. Like, where is this precept again? Let's talk. Is that you could use that with Isaiah 31 because our oppressor is weak. I'm gonna give it to you right now, real quick, for time's sake, right? It's in bear with me 1 second. I might stand corrected. You know what? It's not even Zechariah, Salakia. It's Isaiah 47. I stand corrected. Real quick, and then we'll go back to 2nd Esdras, right? Isaiah chapter 47. You know how he's talking about America. America, the daughter of Babylon, the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, that is referring to in Revelation 17 and 18, as a matter of fact. Isaiah 47:1, come down and sit in the dust. It will be brought down to the point. You think you're flying high up in heavens, flying high, soaring in the sky as an eagle. Your wings will be clipped. You will fall down from your high position, from your high pedestal, and sleep in the dust. As I say, you will be crawling in the goddamn dust like the serpent that you are. O virgin daughter of Babylon. Why? Because this is new Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, not old Babylon, but just like old Babylon, it's all manner of sickness and sins in this place. Sit on the ground. There is no throne. You'll be cast down to the earth. You will sit in the dust. You understand? O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Verse 2. Take the millstone and grind meal. Uncover thy locks. Make bare the leg. You know what it means? Listen, hey, Shalom says, you know what's a perfect example of this? Right? You see, when you have sex with a woman, you uncover her shame. You make her leg bare. Listen, I'm gonna just say it like that, right? Have you ever heard the term walking, being pregnant and barefoot? There's a Benjamite term, especially Jamaican, right? What is it to be barefoot? Is to have nothing on your foot. What is it to bare the leg? You show all that leg, all them leg, them thighs and everything, right? It's, if we keep reading, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Damn. Now imagine that. You understand? Imagine that. It's talking, like you see, like I said in Revelation 17, right? It refers to America as a great whore. You could use that when it says the daughter of Babylon. It's referring to America as a woman. Now imagine a woman where you basically lift up her skirt and you uncover her thigh. You uncover her shame when you. That's why I say when you have sex with a woman and she's naked, you uncover her shame. It's a metaphor because ain't nothing wrong when you're the only one who uncovers that woman's shame as the man. You know, it's not wrong. That's the good shame to uncover. But uncovering her shame is seeing that woman at her weakest state. She's naked. There's nothing to cover her breasts, to cover her private parts or whatnot. This is talking about lifting America's skirt. You uncover her shame and her weaknesses. You understand? She's passing over the river. She has no undergarment. You're seeing under that skirt of America. In verse 3, thy nakedness shall be uncovered. You understand? Like I said, you trust in Egypt because of chariots. We read that in Isaiah 31:1. Because of chariots. You trust in Egypt because of the might that they portray to have. America is only living on a older reputation. But even that reputation was based on a lie. But now everything is being exposed. Canada and the US got invaded by some Chinese spy balloon like a couple years ago. You see how weak there is? They invaded. They spied on Canada and America with a weather balloon. They invaded the airspace. That's that shame that is uncovered. You're lifting America's skirt. Like you see in the movies when a woman Passover event, the skirt is lift up and her shame is uncovered. Imagine that's America, right? And as opposed to having even that little little remaining amount of shame that that woman has in the movie because she has some underwear, America has no underwear. You're seeing everything. Like Tupac said, all eyes on me. It's all eyes on America. How weak there is. She's naked. You understand? Yeah, thy shame shall be seen. You're everything. Damn. Something that only a husband should see. Everybody's looking at it now. You understand? Of course, it's a metaphor to show how weak America is. You understand? I will take vengeance and I will not meet thee as a man. Because, yeah, the Lord, listen, all these plagues, boy, you're not ready for all these plagues. Every plague and calamity that the Lord is making rain down in this empire, you think America is going to be destroyed just because of what? China? What's the terrorist group over there? ISIS or whatnot? You're thinking the downfall of America would be a human person and China will replace them. Yo, Christ is coming back with 200 million angels. The Lord is sending the nigger king with 200 million nigger angels to redeem niggers, spics, and savages. This is what you call them. The nation not desired. You understand? Before he does so, he will boost your ego to where you think you're still untouchable. Yo, your skirt is going to be lift up. There's going to be a tornado. There's going to be a hurricane in the skirt of America, which is the ground zero epicenter of the white empire today. This is the daughter of Babylon. Your skirt is going to be lift up and you have no underwear, whatnot. You don't even have lingerie to cover. Yeah, that's America. You understand? Let's get back to 2nd Esdras real quick for time's sake, right? 2nd Esdras 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Death and destruction is coming to everyone who's part of this society. You know, everyone. It don't matter. Listen, you don't believe in the white supremacy of Catholicism, Christianity, Baptist or whatnot, so you become Muslim. You are still a Christian. You are still part of this society. Why? A concept in this society, just like it was a thing in Persia or Babylon as well, was freedom of religion. You're not doing anything that was not done before. Don't think that you have some undiscovered secret. You know, ChatGPT is probably your God. I met some people like that, believe it or not. They worship Google. They think they know better. You understand? Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Let's keep reading. Verse 15. For the sword of their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another. It's talking about a people specifically. It's not talking about civil war right here. This is talking about a race war. Hey, Shalom says, Yahweh Shema, Thabashim Yahweh Shai. This is talking about a race war, a people against another. Just like there were two manner of people when they were in the womb, Jacob and Esau were two manner of people. They were two different nations. It's talking about people fighting against another. It's talking about a race war, just so you know. And swords in their hands. Modern day sword is what? Any type of weapon. It don't matter if it's a knife, if it's a baton, if it's a firearm. A sword is a weapon that you will use to either attack or defend yourself with. Verse 16, and this is the topic of the class specifically with the event that happened in Montreal on Monday morning, where that we have to let y'all know that it was a white criminal, a white sexually depraved, sexually frustrated criminal that unalived a police officer in the city of Montreal on Monday morning around 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time while he was targeting the head offices of Pornhub. We have to let you know. Why? Because that's the description of the criminal. And this was the activity that he was about to partake in. Just like they describe black and Latino criminals all the time, isn't it fair for him to be described as well? I call that equality. The big difference is blacks and Latinos do not commit unalivings when they're sexually frustrated. They don't do that. They would never. You understand? They would never. Salakia. That's our oppressor's culture. Second Esdras 15 and 16. For there shall be sedition among men. This is talking about civil war. We just read 15 about race war, people against another. There's going to be war on all fronts. You understand? For there shall be sedition among men. You're already fighting a war abroad. You understand? Getting ready for the world war. The war is just dying down a bit. That's why the gas prices went down. That's why gold, quote unquote, crashed. The dollar is still crashing. You understand? Yeah, I.S.U.P.K is crazy. I.S.U.P.K is crazy. They say to cancel his subscription. If only he had a subscription. I don't know. Maybe if he had a subscription, he would not have targeted the office. Who knows? You understand? That's crazy, though. But the point is that, jokes aside, there is a war on all fronts. I.S.U.P.K is crazy. You know, y'all fighting a world war. There's a race war brewing. Look at Europe. They're not hiding it. In Canada and the U.S., Canadians are going to Texas, and I think it's North and South Carolina. White Canadians are traveling to Texas and North and South Carolina to train with white supremacist group in the U.S. to get ready for a race war. There's going to be a race war. You're already in a world war. We're reading about sedition among men. The word sedition is synonymous with civil war. We just read all these empires went through the exact same thing, you know, and it must happen in order for the kingdom of God to come on the earth. You understand? To be established. Let me finish this real quick because I have two more precepts. Might go over like 2 minutes over the time, right? Second Esdras 15 and 16. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. Donald Trump he got shot in the ear, a year or two ago? They're talking about the authority that is not going to be respected or honored. They don't give a damn. This man, because he could not get a woman, he could not even pay a prostitute $40. He had to drive from Alberta to Montreal to unalive a police officer. That's what happened on Monday morning. Damn, he can't even pay a prostitute. And I'm not condoning such or making a promotion of such deviancy. But the point is, he was so sexually frustrated to get night. He drove hours. Listen, Toronto to Montreal is already 4.5, 5 hours. Alberta is even further than Toronto. I'm telling you right now, just so y'all know, right? Just to unalive a police officer because he couldn't get a woman. Damn. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Perfect example, that devil that unalived the police officer in Montreal. The unaliver of Charlie Kirk. Bullseye in the neck like a deer. Their actions shall stand in their power. They don't give a damn. They could purchase a firearm. Best believe they'll do whatever with it. You don't know. If they don't unalive themselves, they're going to unalive someone. They tell you all the time. This cat had a manifesto. The police came over there because he's the one who called the police. They don't give a damn. Someone tried to attempt at Trump's life twice. Nobody cares. They unalived the little Arab kid in France. 2 years ago? They were ramming cars in the mayor's office in Paris. The course of their actions shall stand in their power. They could do it, best believe they will. Let me keep reading. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go in a city and shall not be able. We might have to bring that class back up again. Y'all sisters are going to need a strong man of the I.S.U.P.K. Because even men are going to go to desire to go in the city, they won't be able to, and they're going to be afraid. You're going to need the protection that you say you don't need because you're independent, right? That's what's going to happen. Better cover your head and come to the school and get you a righteous brother, because these times are at your door right now. Verse 18, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. You don't even see the problem that's right in front of your faces right now. The houses shall be destroyed. Why? Because the foundation of it is not even solid. Your foundation is the foundation of this society. And everybody's going to be afraid because you're seeing that the police can't even protect themselves. The military can't even protect themselves. Wait till there's a martial law. And then what happened to the police officers happened to the same thing happened to those who are on the forefront in the martial law. And the martial law is active. These ICE agents or whatnot. The authority or the people who are placed in authority don't have any authority. Nobody gives a damn. That's what you're seeing unfold in front of your eyes. These are prophecies happening right in front of you. Let me get verse 19, two more precepts. 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. We covered that a couple classes ago. We're gonna have no choice but to rely on one another. Because when the famine comes, as they are going to, the best friend that you live with next door, trying to rob you. He's going to be sexually frustrated like that white man. He's going to want to ravish your wife, if not your children. What are you going to do when you don't have a strong man in your house to protect the family? That's going to happen. But shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods. Let me give you a quick precept paraphrase. Ecclesiasticus 36 and 24 and 25. He that beget a wife beginning a possession where there is no hedge, the possession is spoiled. You will be spoiled with no man to protect you. Your children will be spoiled with no father to protect them. Let's keep reading. Because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. That lack of bread is not money. Money is falling. Like during the time of Joseph, money is failing. Great tribulation, like Christ prophesied about. Harsh times, which are going to become even dark days are upon us, and even darker days are coming. Salakia. Let's go to Matthew chapter 12, verse 25 real quick. Matthew 12 and 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. Should I bring back the chat GPT conversation we just had? Should I do that? It's a rhetorical question. For time's sake, I'm not going to, but you get the point. This kingdom, whether it's the liberal, whether it's the not conversationist, conservationist, however you say it, right? These kingdoms are divided against one another, and they will be brought down. There is no strong foundation in these kingdoms. The only kingdom that has a strong foundation is the kingdom of God. The law abideth forever. The law is better than the most precious gold. It's better than honey. And honey is one of the only things that never goes bad. That's the foundation of our kingdom. That's why our kingdom is prophesied to last forever, because as opposed to the other kingdom, the major ones, we will not be built from the kingdom that preceded us. We are the only one with a holy, separate foundation. You understand? And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Let me get Matthew 24 and 6. I'm going to end the class after these last two verses. Matthew 24 and 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. I mean, we're in the middle of it now. It ain't no rumor no more. See that ye be not troubled. Meaning what? Don't stress. You understand? Don't be afraid. Fret not. Because Christ is going to tell you why. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. All these things that we're seeing unfold right now must happen, but the end is not yet. Listen, Christ is prophesied to come back in the middle of World War III while they're bombing the hell out of each other. He will crack the sky open with 200 million nigga angels. People are going to be in awe, realizing like, yo, what is this? Is it a plane? Is it a bird? Is this super? No, listen, it's the nigga king. That's what it is. You understand? Verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation. As we read earlier, people against one another is the same thing. A nation against another nation. Not a country, but a nation of people. This is a race war. And kingdom against kingdom. You understand? Now you're talking about these countries that are established, these kingdoms. You're going into a world war. And there will be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. I just told you, there were literally 3 earthquakes the same day. One in Venezuela. Pray for Venezuela's our I.S.U.P.K brothers. One in Japan and one in the U.S. on the same day. It has nothing to do with tectonic plates. It has all to do with prophecies in Christ coming back. Last precept, Matthew 24 and 21. For then shall be great tribulation. Christ is telling you it will be dark days like never before. Tribulations like never before. Imagine that. There were about, I think, 40 million casualties for World War I. Around 60 to 80 million for World War II. And Christ is telling you right here that it will be even worse than World War I and II combined. Tribulations like never before that will never be seen again. For then shall be great tribulation, Matthew 24 and 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. You're not ready for what's coming. In order for you to be prepared for what's coming, you better put in all black as a brother, uncover your head, and cover your head as a sister. Come into the school. You understand? You better change yourself. Come learn this truth as a brother. Be raised up as from a young man to a trooper. Become an officer. Go teach the truth. Learn how to raise your kids right. Learn how to, fix your household. Establish your household. Learn how to love one another. Be establishing the foundation of the kingdom of God. Learn how to separate yourself from these people because you don't want to be victim. You don't want to be subjected to these tribulations that will befall and all these plagues that will befall on our oppressor as the kingdom is falling apart even more rapidly than we would ever think. You understand? With that, I'm going to conclude the class right here. Y'all tune into the scripture breakdown. I think tonight will be Captain Tazariak teaching it. Regardless, you still get the same breakdowns as you would get with John Hyman because we are one body. We have faith. We have one faith. We are with one Lord. Just paraphrasing, right? With that, I'm going to conclude the class right here. I'm going to read the security announcements. Y'all tune into I.S.U.P.K. One West online classes on YouTube. And we will see each other this weekend. Toronto, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be prophesying live to our people in Sankofa Square on Yonge and Dundas for camp. With that, to water for everybody who tuned in, Yahweh Bashim Yashar Brakatam to all the brothers, and Yahweh Shemala Tam Bashim Yashar to all the sisters. To water. It's lucky. This is the I.S.U.P.K. security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K., the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6 months period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew, pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocation, we have the memorial of blowing of trumpets, which will be the first day of the 7th month. It will be Friday, September 11th, 2026. You can read more about it in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 24 to 25. Reminder to all Akim wa Akwathian, reminder to all brothers and sisters to check the bulletin board in the hallway of their school if they have a physical location. And if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pant, headband, and scarf. With that, so we'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers and a courtesy salute to the sisters. Minaveja al-Majam, which means to stand. We'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Minaveja al-Majam Shabbat. Majam, Barak, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Brakatham, which means Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, bless y'all. Yajamata, which means hands down. Sar, which means to turn. Turn and face the sisters if you have any in your presence. We'll give them a courtesy salute as well. Minaveja al-Majam Shabbat. Majam, Barak, Yahweh Shamar, Alathan Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Mean Yahweh, watch over y'all in the name of Yahweh Shai. Yajamata, class dismissed. What up for everybody who tuned in? Shalom, Israel.
Check me out, dog. Roll the window up, man. The water. Ain't no better, dog, brother. The son of a king. I don't Balenciaga. I might just wear collar. I might just wear the Pradas. But I'm thinking long term, so I might say the dollars. We ain't no better, I'm just being honest. I should've went to college, but I was thinking violence. This a one West world, we the fucking livest. Break it down, we break ground, we don't break no damn promise. Let's get active, dog, don't tell me how you feel about it. These cats saying too much, they ain't learn enough. You maxed out the first quarter, I'm still warming up. These niggas tossing up a brick, they can't score with us. Who gon' come against us? On the Lord with us. Them niggas riding for you. I hope they ride till they crash. Put my name in your mouth, I put my belt to your ass. I ain't running no race, I just hope that I last. All them niggas you look up to, I consider them trash. Only time you seen a leader was in Wayne hand. Niggas will dap you, then pop you with the same hand. I'm a main player, I stick to the game plan. He don't really fuck with you, that's your main man. We them niggas came through and made your city hot. Yep, said he in the field, but he really not. And I ain't casting no stone, I just let him rock. And that's the kind of story they gon' read about. But if it's war, it ain't no tapping out. Grip still heat, spit like a dragon mouth.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.